Hello, I'm Damian Trujillo, a news reporter with NBC Bay Area News. I'm honored to be your master of ceremonies for today's virtual event. It's been a challenging year for everyone. As a parent, I was worried about the quality of education that my children would get over this past year. As a parent today, I can only thank you for what you've been able to accomplish outside of the classroom. As a professional, I am in awe of that accomplishment. Thank you all very much, all of you educators. We're going to begin with our ceremonial opening. Please welcome the Mountain View High School Madrigal Choir, directed by Jill Denny.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hello, everyone. I am the Santa Clara County Board of Education President, Claudia Rossi. 2020 was a challenging year for us all, and it revealed our strength, tenacity, and resilience in many important ways. This year emphasized that relationships are essential to innovation and progress in education, and we are grateful for the dedication and commitment of our county partnerships and organizations. The County Office of Education has provided extraordinary emergency response and coordinated services throughout the year, ranging from immediate and decisive action taken to prevent the rapid spread of COVID-19 in our schools, while supporting students and families, to providing protective services for our communities impacted by wildfires, and so much more. Each obstacle was met with grace and effectiveness, proving that we are stronger together. I extend my sincere gratitude to all school board trustees throughout Santa Clara County. Thank you to school district leadership, teachers, and school employees for your admirable commitment and discipline. And to our students, parents, and community members, we stand with you.
Well, thank you to the Mountain View High School Madrigal Choir, and also thank you to Claudia Rossi, the Santa Clara County Board of Education President. Now, please welcome Nicole Taylor, the CEO of Silicon Valley Community Foundation.
Hello, I am Nicole Taylor, President and CEO of the Silicon Valley Community Foundation. And it is my honor to introduce Dr. Marianne Dewan, the Santa Clara County Superintendent of Schools. For over 30 years, Dr. Dewan has dedicated her life to advocating for high quality, equitable, and inclusive education for all students. And that leadership, experience, and passion have never been more paramount than during this past year. At the start of the pandemic, Dr. Dewan immediately mobilized partners across the region to help meet the needs of Santa Clara County students and families. When the Community Foundation opened our COVID-19 Education Partnership Fund, Dr. Dewan moved quickly to deploy nearly $1 million to help thousands of students in the county. She led her incredible team this past year through some extraordinary challenges. She and her team worked tirelessly to ensure that no child went without a meal. They worked to ensure that students, families, and staff had the access to technology and resources they needed for distance learning, and that mental health and emotional supports were in place for those dealing with the trauma of the pandemic. And Dr. Dewan has not let up. She continues to advocate, organize, and mobilize our community to do everything we can for our children. Over this past year, Dr. Dewan has been a champion for children, families, and teachers in Santa Clara County. The Community Foundation is so fortunate to have an education ally like her in our corner. And I am humbled, proud, and grateful to have her as a colleague. Please join me in welcoming the Santa Clara County Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Marianne Dewan.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Nicole. Thank you to all of our guest speakers, Santa Clara County Board of Education President Claudia Rossi, Ahmad Thomas, the CEO of the Silicon Valley Leadership Group, Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors Cindy Chavez, the incredible Mountain View Madrigals Choir, directed by Jill Denny, and Master of Ceremonies, award-winning journalist Damian Trujillo. The Santa Clara County School Boards Association, our administration, staff, and leadership, and the students, families, and communities of Santa Clara County, and our viewing audience joining us today. Last January, we were excited about the hope of a new year. We were 20 years into this new century, and just saying 2020 conveyed a sense of promise. COVID-19 quickly transformed our shared work into pandemic-driven responses, new goals, and new work we hadn't envisioned. Decisions were immediate and wide-reaching. The importance and urgency of partnership would become the strength that fueled our response. This resilience became evident in the face of numerous obstacles that affected academic instruction, health and safety, and service and support for our county's students, families, and community. Along with our sustained emergency response, we strove to uphold traditions, maintain core and essential services, and to honor the diligence and commitments of our teachers, school personnel, families, and students. We celebrated graduates, encouraged and facilitated youth civic engagement, showcased youth art and expression, and certification ceremonies. Key events brought awareness and connectedness to our students. Events like Youth Voice Live in May, which featured powerful spokespeople who shared students' passion and participation in the civic process and encouraged young people to pursue issues that were important to them. And the Young Artist Showcase, featuring beautiful, heartfelt representations of youth expression. We've experienced tremendous loss, yet found solidarity in our continued effort to mitigate the risk of COVID-19. We found greatness, gratitude, and resilience in the power of partnership. With the lessons learned top of mind, we enter 2021 with the knowledge and insights gained and an understanding of the challenges we face, a renewed focus to embrace innovation and facilitate the academic, social, emotional, and physical well-being of youth and their families. Santa Clara County Public Health Officer Dr. Sarah Cody and her team worked collaboratively with our staff to support and facilitate health and safety protocols specifically to schools. This included the distribution of timely information and the reassignment of key SCCOE leadership staff. Together, we held town halls and webinars. We are incredibly grateful for the ongoing partnership with the County of Santa Clara, the Public Health Department, and all others in various departments with whom we are privileged to work and support. From the first public health order in March that emphasized the crucial need to wear personal protective equipment like face coverings, our agency engaged closely with schools to support the effective implementation of risk reduction measures. Through partnerships, free COVID-19 testing sites were established. From July through the end of 2020, Santa Clara County's Emergency Operations Centers and Valley Medical Center testing strike teams administered over 385,000 COVID-19 tests at sites throughout the county, including sites such as the fairgrounds. Included in this total were over 48,000 tests given at our South County Annex and nearly 5,000 that were administered here at our Ritter Park campus. Together, in the second half of 2020, more than 53,000 COVID-19 tests were administered at these two sites alone. In fact, Santa Clara County's COVID-19 testing rate is more than twice the statewide median rate, and more than 1.5 million COVID-19 tests have been administered among Santa Clara County residents since the pandemic began. Our partners at the County Public Health Department and the Valley Medical Center in San Jose have been the driving force behind our county having such extraordinary testing numbers, and we are honored to be key partners in this effort. Routine surveillance testing provides a more accurate view of how many cases exist in the community and is an important, measurable way to help reduce the transmission of COVID-19. Routine surveillance testing will continue to be conveniently located throughout the county for district and SCCOE staff. Providing staff and families with personal protective equipment continues to be a top priority. In the span of 10 months, our office facilitated the delivery of more than 1.6 million units of PPE equipment to schools and district offices, including disposable and cloth masks for students and adults, face shields and hand sanitizer to ensure sanitation protocol supplies were filled and followed. Employees from our emergency preparedness, school safety, and security services unit were on the front lines, leading our efforts via our Incident Command Center, providing emergency response and support for our employees, the education sector, and the public. Our community looks to us to communicate information. The Emergency Resource Portal, featured on our website homepage, serves to alert our community to natural disasters like wildfires and heat excessive temperatures. During the weeks of wildfire evacuations, heat advisories, public safety power shutoff events, and weather-related emergencies, the Emergency Resource Portal was accessed approximately 6,000 times. Limited access to mental health and wellness services has long been a concern, and we anticipate the needs to become even greater due to COVID-19-induced factors that put children at risk, including decreased housing and economic stability, food instability, disruption of school routines and schedules, and prolonged social isolation. The number of calls for mental health services nationwide increased a record of 900% from the previous year. In Santa Clara County, we witnessed a record increase of 30% from February to May 2020. The SCCOE, in collaboration with the County of Santa Clara Behavioral Health Services Department and the 32 Santa Clara County school districts, received funds to increase mental health prevention, early intervention, and direct service opportunities for students. The funds are designed to expand wellness centers and services at traditional public school campuses. Thank you to Senator Jim Bell for leading the effort to provide young people with mental health services and advocating for student mental health dollars. Together, we can provide our young people with access to mental health and wellness resources, ensuring we support their physical and mental health and wellness development.
to our amazing Berryessa family. This past year, your presence brought a level of normalcy and stability to our community in a time where everything has felt uncertain. From delivering distance learning, providing our students with meals, to safety preparations, you have selflessly given service to Berryessa. I am inspired by your ongoing commitment and dedication. For that, I am eternally grateful and look forward to our continued collaboration.
All right, well, now welcome Ahmad Thomas, the CEO of the Silicon Valley Leadership Group.
When it comes to education, it's an understatement to say that this past year hasn't been like any other, which is why it has been such a privilege for the Silicon Valley Leadership Group to work closely with the County Office of Education. Responding to the moment we're in, Superintendent Dewan guided 300 leaders from business, education, and government at our Education Policy Summit last August. And the message was on how public-private partnerships can serve students effectively during COVID-19. Then in December, several SCOE professionals joined their private sector colleagues to mentor 200 middle school students from 10 San Jose schools at our week-long Young Leaders event. SVLG member companies like Google, Lockheed Martin, the San Francisco 49ers, and TIBCO really made an impact on kids at a time we've never felt more disconnected. Going forward, the number one priority of the leadership group's education portfolio is to diversify STEM, to ensure the next generation of innovation economy professionals reflect the brilliant diversity of our local communities. And we are so proud to have SCOE as a key partner in this important effort.
Schools moved swiftly to distance learning, and assessment and accountability systems were modified, postponed, and canceled. However, together with districts, teachers, staff, students, and families, as well as city and county leadership and community and business partners, we established a new way of learning. We made the best use of technology, developed virtual training and resources, and established intensive tutoring programs, and more. This wide-scale effort serves as a foundation for ongoing learning, even as we are able to return to in-person instruction. Since last March, districts, teachers, and staff have worked tirelessly to create a new virtual way of classroom instruction. From those early weeks of learning online platforms, while adapting and developing new lesson plans, to creating and facilitating ways to keep students engaged, administration and teachers made the shift to distance learning while planning for the eventual return to in-person instruction. We worked in collaboration to develop responsive guidance for local schools and teams engaged in thoughtful planning centered on protecting the safety and health of students, staff, and families through adherence to guiding principles and health directives. The Stronger Together Recovery and Reopening for Santa Clara County Schools provides resources, guidance, and considerations to inform local decision-making and to support stakeholder engagement in the community. Many teachers, parents, and students continue to learn online. The Santa Clara County Office of Education offers interactive distance learning webinars for educators, students, and parents, all of which are available on the SCCOE Learning Resource Portal. Featured content can be used by pre-K through grade 12 educators and includes both digital and non-digital options for learning at home. Distance learning webinars feature a variety of topics, including how to deliver content-specific instruction in a virtual environment, strategies for supporting English learners and students with special needs, as well as engaging ideas to promote teacher and student well-being. Since its launch, over 100,000 parents, students, teachers, and staff have accessed the Learning Resource Portal. Every individual has the right to quality, inclusive learning. Our Inclusion Collaborative expanded its resources to include a monthly online family resource highlight on the SCCOE website, where parents learn and practice education techniques with an inclusion training specialist. As parents and educators, we are compelled to share the significance and impact of our democracy with our children and students, the mark it has made on humanity and our world, and the importance of freedom. Youth engagement and civic education begins in elementary school, informing and modeling practices and thought processes that help our children understand how they can participate in the democratic process. Last year, our youth in this county participated in events designed to encourage and empower. Through the lens of equity and diversity, the Power of Democracy Civic Engagement Initiative is a multi-sector program facilitated by the Santa Clara County Office of Education, designed to foster an understanding of our democracy, to share resources and best practices, encourage informed and multifaceted civic participation, and build stronger communities. Even before the pandemic, with our district partners, we provided internet infrastructure and technology support. During the COVID-19 pandemic, that need increased exponentially, which caused us to shift our efforts towards advocacy, including raising funds and coordinating with vendors to ensure we were adequately managing the distribution of devices. Prior to distance learning, an estimated 40,000 households in our county did not have adequate Wi-Fi, the internet, or digital devices. This problem was amplified when many families who rely on Wi-Fi and digital resources provided by our schools approached a school year of distance learning without those important tools. With partners throughout our county, such as the Silicon Valley Community Foundation, the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, City of San Jose, our school and internet service providers, we have successfully raised over $14 million for digital equity, and we continue this high priority work with our districts, community-based organizations, and county agencies to direct these resources to students and families. Through a number of training sessions, town halls, and coordinated advocacy, we focus on digital equity by bringing together elected officials, school district leaders, philanthropy leaders, educators, community, and parents. We can raise awareness and take action to ensure that access to the internet is not restricted, and it is recognized, as it should be, as important to our health and safety, our educational pursuits, and more, as electricity and water. As we learn more about the number of students and families whose attendance and participation in school is affected during and in the aftermath of the pandemic, our responsibility to the most vulnerable youth in our community remains unwavering. Our office expanded services for foster care and homeless youth, migrant education, special education, alternative education, and the Opportunity Youth Academy. The Walden West program could no longer provide students with a hands-on learning experience in nature, so it transitioned to a virtual learning format while still maintaining the curiosity and interest of students in science, exploration, and appreciation of nature. This year, Walden West students will take action to be stewards of the environment and do their part to slow climate change through the Eco Action Challenge. Already this year, 171 classrooms are scheduled for virtual camp, which will serve approximately 4,000 students.
Hi, this is Bob Bravo, Superintendent of Campbell Union High School District, and I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity to recognize the hard work and dedication of all of our staff, from the transportation, food service, and tech workers that have personally delivered food and technology to the homes of students, to the teachers who have done a tremendous job adapting their curriculum and pedagogy for distance learning during COVID. Nothing but thanks and appreciation.
A little change of scenery for this one. Please welcome from the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, the Honorable Cindy Chavez.
I am really honored to get a chance to speak about Dr. Marianne Dewan. Leaders who are so collaborative and unassuming and never worry about who gets credit are so efficient and so effective, sometimes they go unnoticed. And I have to tell you, I have noticed Dr. Marianne Dewan. Before the pandemic, I had an opportunity to work with her on any number of issues: foster youth, early voter registration for young people, child care, the expansion of our mental health services. But when COVID-19 hit, I saw her even become a more powerful leader in terms of making sure that we were not leaving any child behind. She fought to make sure we had the resources to to bridge the gap in the digital divide, to make sure that we had child care for essential workers, to make sure that schools, if they were open, were able to open up safely. You know, and that really that every family that needed a meal had access to food in partnership with many others. And the key thing I wanted to say about Dr. Dewan is that her partnership and the leadership of the County Office of Education in our county is one that people aren't experiencing in other parts of the country. It really is a profound opportunity for me to be able to say a thank you, Dr. Dewan, to you and to your entire team for sticking with us during the darkest times and helping us get across the finish line as a community.
Due to pandemic-related challenges, food and housing insecurity reached an all-time high, with a record number of families experiencing homelessness and hunger. As an education-focused organization, we know that in order to be successful in academics, you first have to feel safe. It is difficult to focus in class, online, or in person if you are hungry and don't have access to power, water, or internet service. In partnership with many county and private organizations, we stepped up to serve where we can, and we continue to advocate for additional resources on behalf of our community. Healthy, nutritious meals for students and families are essential, and access to them is especially crucial during a pandemic. With the shutdown, many families lost employment and the means to support themselves with basic needs. Obtaining essentials became increasingly difficult, and for some of our families, it still is. At the start of the pandemic and school closures to in-person activities, school nutrition programs had to reinvent the way they ordered, produced, and distributed meals. The transition to supporting stay-at-home families meant the opportunity to partner with community organizations by providing basic and academic essentials like healthy meals and distance learning toolkits. Students are receiving hands-on learning toolkits and meals through partnerships with community organizations such as Second Harvest, Resource Area for Teaching, Silicon Valley Strong, First Five of Santa Clara, and the City of San Jose that extended outreach and support throughout Santa Clara County. We identify and connect community-based organizations, including those that can provide funding support, such as the Silicon Valley Community Foundation, to ensure our schools have the most recent updates on school meal requirements and state and federal waivers to safely operate and maximize their nutrition programs during the COVID-19 crisis. Since April 2020, over 5 million child meals have been distributed by school districts across the county. In addition, 470,000 meals were supplemented by the City of San Jose. This effort ensured that families in our county are receiving meals every day. The COVID-19 pandemic forced widespread school and child care center closures, disrupting the education, health, and well-being of students, families, and communities. The Silicon Valley Community Foundation formed a partnership with the San Mateo County and Santa Clara County Offices of Education. The COVID-19 Education Partnership, an initiative to support the needs of our local county offices of education and school districts, has provided essential fiscal resources for recovery, including support for students and families. We are incredibly thankful for the opportunity to partner with the Silicon Valley Community Foundation and the generous donors who provided vital funding and materials. The impact and effects of early learning are well researched. Our county is seeing declining enrollment trends, and recently a significant decline in transitional kindergarten, pre-kindergarten, and kindergarten enrollment last year and into 2021. While the total number of students who stopped attending school due to the pandemic is still unknown, the estimates are staggering. With attendance numbers, specifically in early education, on the decline, Santa Clara County Schools sought to reach out to students and families that were not connected. Declining enrollment trends continued this year and will lead to severe funding consequences. With generous support from the Morgan Family Foundation, we launched the Steps to Success campaign to raise awareness about the benefits of enrolling and regularly attending early learning programs. The goal of this campaign is to increase enrollment in early learning and establish a county hub of information. To further increase access to quality early learning, last spring, our organization became the Santa Clara County Child Care Resource and Referral, or R&R agency. As the R&R agency, our primary goal is to ensure that every family in Santa Clara County can access high-quality early care and education, and offer care providers within the county access to a system that supports both their programmatic and financial success. We remain deeply committed to our core principles of equity, diversity, inclusion, and partnership, which have driven the construction of the R&R program. In partnership with the County Social Services Agency, we will expand these services to include the Emergency Child Care Bridge Program to foster youth. The R&R program is accessible via the Child Care Portal on the SCCOE website, connecting families to needed child care. In the early days of the pandemic and school closures to student and staff attendance, partnerships quickly formed to provide safe child care to essential workers and first responders. In collaboration with First Five of Santa Clara County and the Healthier Kids Foundation, the County Office of Education distributed more than 650 kits of personal protective equipment, including gloves and masks and cleaning supplies, to child care providers. And the SCCOE, through the state's Cleaning Supplies for Child Care Providers program, sent more than 882 reimbursement checks, totaling almost $3 million, to child care providers to offset COVID-19 related cleaning costs. Funding for over $5 million to 528 providers is supporting the ongoing financial viability of our county's early learning and care system in 2021.
Hi, this is California State Senator Dave Cortese, and first and foremost, I want to thank Dr. Marianne Dewan and the County Office of Education, including our school board members, for your continued leadership during this pandemic and the work that you're doing to not only support our teachers, but to support our children and make sure that the safe reopening of schools is your highest priority. Having served on a school board myself as part of my local government service over the years, I know that the challenges that all of you are facing today are perhaps the most difficult challenges that we've faced in public education or as a society in over 100 years. Thank you for the work you're doing, which again focuses on making sure that every child succeeds even during this pandemic. I am very, very proud of some of the work that we've done together over the years, and I do at least want to mention that. I am continuing to push for the expansion of schooling services, but I want to say thank you for that. Thank you for your efforts to partner with the County of Santa Clara to make sure that mental health services, public health services, and other support services for students are available on over 200 campuses now in Santa Clara County and continuing to grow. This is a model that I believe needs to be extended throughout the state of California, and how proud all of you should be that the best practices for that model were developed right here in Santa Clara County with your help every step of the way. In my new role as a state senator and as a member of the State Education Committee, I'll continue to work with you, you specifically here at the County Office of Education, to make sure that we do expand these concepts and others statewide that are going to continue to benefit our families, our children, but our teachers and our other school district workers throughout Santa Clara County and throughout the state as we move forward to try to meet mental health needs and social emotional needs of our kids and make sure that we once again have the best public education system in the United States of America. I know that's your goal, that's my goal, and I look forward to working with you some more together in the future. Thank you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Senator Cortese, for your commitment to partnership. We face 2021 united and will emerge stronger. The strength of our collective commitment to students first grounds the actions of a community, our community, focused on the future of youth and families. We will continue to invest in early learning and care, address persistent equity gaps with renewed focus, improve college pathways and college readiness, and expand school-based mental health and wellness services. The pandemic has driven home the importance of equitable access to the internet and devices, and not just for students. Our county has made progress toward bridging the digital divide. Recent investments have improved student access to digital devices at home, but internet access remains a challenge for many families. There is much more work to do. We remain committed to advocating for the necessary infrastructure and coordination to fully address digital inequities.
I am filled with pride in the way our staff rallied when schools closed. Bus drivers transitioned with our preschool and expanded learning staff to set up support centers for struggling students. Therapists and counselors provided online support. Food services provided daily meals. Custodians and facility staff prepared sites. And our tech folks ensured devices and connectivity for all. Our community liaisons connected many challenged families to resources, and we developed a system for engaging every student, including home visits by site administrators. Our teachers and assistants worked tirelessly to provide effective instruction in a whole new way. District office, support staff, and nurses embraced the additional duties of COVID-19. We committed to leading with our hearts and will continue that well beyond this pandemic. Our board has consistently supported the whole child, which set the stage for this Herculean effort. I appreciate all of our Campbell employee family. Thank you.
We are encouraged that connections to the Santa Clara County community were expanded through social media channels as indicated by upward trends in engagement levels with our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram followers, exhibiting an increase of 60% from March through December. We learned the importance of gratitude, which often helps us through challenges. Gratitude illuminates the gifts of connection, compassion, and acceptance. I am deeply grateful to the education community, elected officials, and our partners for striving to embody the principles of equity, resilience, innovation, inclusion, perseverance, and partnership every day. I want to thank the superintendents, education leaders, school employees, education colleagues, elected officials, agency and community partners, the choir, and participants. Thank you for your partnership as we all continue to champion youth and families in this great county. These extraordinary times have proven that strength comes from partnership. We are stronger together.
Well, thank you all so much. It has been a challenging year, and the next year will not be that much easier, but I am inspired by the educational system, the educators, the teachers, principals, and volunteers in this great county. Have a good evening.
My mother, when love is gone, my mother, when love is gone, in our darkest hour hope lingers on.
My father, when peace is gone, my father, when love is gone,
in our darkest hour hope lingers on.
It is heartbreaking to be away from one another, from our community members, and especially our students. And it is so different than the way we want to do our work. To all of you who had to reinvent what you did to serve our children in our communities, it is clear that your unending support and your dedication to your jobs It all provided the best chance for success for our students in the most selfless ways imaginable. Thank you so much.
My brother, when tolerance tall, when tolerance tall, in our darkest hour, hope lingers on. I will not hate, and I will not fear.
The Union School District community has a reputation for kindness, creativity, and innovation. I am in awe of the dedication and hard work of our USD teachers, our classified staff, our administrators, our families, and our Board of Trustees in providing an engaging online learning program to our students, providing invaluable supports and services on and off of our campuses, supporting our community and rallying together with hope and with love in the face of one of the most difficult and challenging times in our world's history. I am humbled and I am honored to work alongside such amazing individuals in our community.